up, tree smokers and tea sippers? I'm Maya and welcome back to Tree and Tea. So today's video is going to be about Hidradenitis suppurativa, also known as HS, not to be confused with herpes simplex, which is also HS, Hidradenitis suppurativa. So what is Hidradenitis suppurativa? Hidradenitis suppurativa is a dermatologic condition where you have swelling of the skin. It can be under your arm, on your legs, also known as boils. But sometimes I dislike saying boils because I feel like it's not taken as seriously as it would be when you say hidradenitis suppurativa. Some of the symptoms of the swelling, obviously, inflammation, severe pain, not being able to walk, move your arms, sit. It's very, very painful. And even though, the outside people may look fine, they might really be in pain, and it really impacts the quality of your life. So now we're going to talk a little bit about my personal background with hidradenitis suppurativa. I was first diagnosed with hidradenitis suppurativa in high school. I want to say maybe my 10th grade year. Originally, they were just calling them boils, but once it got so severe where it was impairing my arm movement, I couldn't carry my books to class. I would be late to class because of not being able to walk or moving really slowly because I was in pain. They realized it was a little bit more severe than just, random boils popping up every now and then. So I was diagnosed with hidradenitis suppurativa. Obviously, in the medical field, they have a lot of drugs that they use as cure-alls, and I hate to say it that way, but there are certain drugs on the market that can be prescribed for multiple different things, just based on whatever it is that you're going through. So through high school, I suffered with it. They told me, there was no cure for it, which I completely disagree with. However, we go with the doctors, especially when you don't really know a lot. But as I got older in college, I kind of started doing my own research, especially with my degree being in biology. I kind of was forced into doing my own research just from having to do school stuff and learning about mechanisms and things like that within the body. So in college, my last year, actually, I was about to graduate. I had a really severe flare. It was so bad to the point where I was riding in my car laying down. You know how the girls that get BBLs, after they get BBLs, they have to lay on the back seat of the car because they can't sit and put pressure on whatever they just had surgery on? I had to do that shit because I had a swelling of something coming from my butt, the inside of my legs, my arms, where I could not, I was in so much pain. It hurt to go to the bathroom. It hurt to almost breathe. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And it almost prevented me from graduating from college. And I think at that moment, I was like, fuck this. I can't do this shit. This is really ruining my life. The quality of my life is here. I'm young. I would be not going to things or, telling people the last minute, hey, I'm not coming, and never really giving an explanation. So if any of my friends are watching this and you were ever wondering, damn, Maya never shows up, she be ghosting us at the last minute, it was probably because I was sick and I didn't want to tell anybody, because I never really wanted people to be like, oh, I feel sorry for you type. It just didn't make me feel good. And I'm like, all right, no excuses. Let's handle this shit, get this shit done with, and then I'm back to normal. But honestly, I was never really back to normal. The swelling, they kept coming. It just got worse and worse progressively over time, almost to the point where they wanted to try an injectable medication on me, which I was completely against. That was the straw for me, really. That broke the camel's back, as old people would say. I was like, I can't do this shit. I'm not injecting anything into myself to make me feel better. There has to be something else that I can do. And that's when I started to lean towards natural health. And it really changed everything about the boils. And it's not that they've gone away completely, but the severity of them, one, has decreased. And two, my quality of life is much better. just feel like I don't want to do shit, or I don't have energy because I'm not feeling well. Me researching by myself and figuring out what I could do to make myself feel better and not have to take all this medication, that's really what changed my life with hidradenitis suppurativa. So now we're going to talk about all of the treatments that I went through during the time of me being diagnosed with hidradenitis suppurativa. So the first thing was antibiotics. I've had from doxycycline to cephalexin, any kind of antibiotic you can think of, I have had. But that also didn't help me because now I have built an immunity to them to where I have allergic reactions when I take antibiotics. So they had to stop giving me antibiotics because that wasn't working. The next medication that I was given is actually an acne medication because hidradenitis suppurativa in research papers is coded as acne inversa, which is basically like the reverse action of acne. Acne normally comes out of your face. With the boils, it comes out, but it's created from something inside that makes it go back out. So it's basically the same thing, even though acne medication is paid for by your insurance. There's not a code for hidradenitis suppurativa, so most doctors have to use acne, which is hence why I got Accutane, the acne medication. I've never had severe acne on my face. Hidradenitis suppurativa was the only thing that I've ever really dealt with in that matter. So the Accutane was the worst of all, I feel like, because it was so tedious. There was something I had to take a pregnancy test every month before I could get the prescription. That was the first thing. And at the time I wasn't sexually active, but they couldn't just take my word because it had to go through a mandated system. So after I take the pregnancy test and it comes back negative, then I have to log into this system and answer these questions. How are you practicing safe sex? And all of this is because if you were to get pregnant on the medication, it could cause severe deformities to your child. So to prevent people from getting pregnant on the medication, they made you go through this whole process, because basically if you answered the questions and said that you weren't, you were sexually active and you weren't either using a condom or doing celibacy or abstaining, they would not give you the prescription. And also, there was a little window, I want to say like maybe 2 or 3 days. If you missed that time window, they had to do the prescription and everything all the way over again. Pregnancy test, the questions, all of that good stuff. The pills would last for 30 days. I think it would be a 30-day supply. Yeah, because you have to do it every month. But the side effects were dryness. It would dry you out. Mouth dry, lips dry, hair dry, everything dry. It made me have like almost dandruff, like psoriasis. It was so much dandruff, my skin would be like super, super dry. I ended up having to get this specific stuff to use so that I would not dry out. And I couldn't be in the sun for a long time. It was just a lot of stipulations that I just felt like, how is this really helping me if I have to go through all of these things? Like it didn't make sense to me, but I was young. And like I said, we follow the doctors. We go with whatever the doctor says. And I think I actually have that stuff. It's called Bag Balm. Now, I still use this stuff to this day because it's perfect for winter weather. But it just was mind-boggling that in their minds, them telling me to do all of this stuff like was normal. This is the stuff. It's called Bag Balm. It's actually used on cow udders, which is what the container says, which was crazy when I first found it, but it is really beneficial if you have dry skin. But so from Accutane, we went to, now they want me to take this injectable. The injectable is Humira. And if you've ever seen a Humira commercial, have you ever heard them say anything about hidradenitis suppurativa in the commercial? I'll wait. No. That's what I mean when a lot of these medications are cure-for-alls. They kind of prescribe them. Well, they do these studies for different illnesses, and then if it works for some people, it's coded, yes, you can use this for hidradenitis suppurativa. I read the research paper for the Humira. I think the study had 16, I think it had 16 participants in it, and 11 out of the 16 still had symptoms. I think maybe like 5 out of the 16, it decreased or went away completely. That's an F. 5 out of 16? If you do, like, if that's a grade, that is an F. Why would I be like, oh yeah, hell yeah, just use me as a guinea pig? Abso-fucking-lutely not. Use me as a guinea pig for something that's natural that my body already creates, which is how I came to taking zinc. I now am on a regimen where I take 90 milligrams of zinc a day. That's not the recommended amount. However, I think that it has been helping me so much. I think it's almost been 3 months since I've been taking it every day religiously, and I have seen a change in the severity of the boils, but that resolution came from me doing my research and bringing that research to the doctors and saying, hey, I'm not willing to do this, but here is what I am willing to do. Are you willing to move forward with me in this plan and see if it works for me? So make sure when you go to the doctor, if you're having any kind of issues, you use them as a consultant and don't just let them make the decision for you, because ultimately it's your life, it's your body. You have to figure out what works, okay? One more little tidbit before I go. So more recent than not, I've been seeing a lot of people advocate for Hidradenitis Suppurativa in the form of commercials and also the little post on Instagram. That really warmed my heart because it let me know that there are a lot of people in the world dealing with this illness, and I hope that this platform also is a great advocate for Hidradenitis Suppurativa. And I just want everybody in that community to know it's a journey, but you know, we can do it together. You just have to really do your research and do what works best for you. So until next time, guys, smoke that shit.